Hi, I'm Dave Pearce, and this is the Dance Years. Tonight, I'll be taking you back to 1999, when the big sound was trance. We'll also be hearing from DJ legend Roger Sanchez, and I've got my top 10 tunes of the year, kicking off with this one. At number 10 for the year were French producers Cassius. It seems the success of Daft Punk and Bob Sinclair the year before had paved the way for a real French revolution in music. Cassius sampled Donna's Summer for this track, imaginatively titled Cassius 99.
Cassius 99, brilliant act from France. This was a defining moment in dance music because it was French music crossing over. And it wasn't Daft Punk and it wasn't Air, it was Cassius, who had a completely different style to the other two bands. It was more disco-y, it was more Philly sounding, it had a campness to it, and I like that.
$19.99, and what better track to mention than Cassius 99. Yet another take on the twisted French sound, done brilliantly. I think that what Cassius have managed to do with their productions and with their music is create such a worldly appeal, as well as a sound that can be really bass heavy and rock a club, but also subtle and so groovy.
Cassius 99 is a massive record. It's not come out of our boxes now. We still play it.
We mix it up the turnaround and
put an acapella turnaround over top of it.
Works really well. We cut an acetate of the turnaround acapella just to sort of put it over the middle because it's got that fantastic huge breakdown, and when it kicks in, it rocks it. Great, fantastic tune.
In 1999, the trance scene made a comeback as a new generation of clubbers reclaimed the sound and brought it to the mainstream.
In the late 80s, Sven Väth in Frankfurt adapted the sound of people like Tangerine Dream and Jean-Michel Jarre, I think was one of his influences, combined it with the noises that he was hearing out of Detroit, and techno noises, and came up with a sort of more orchestral version, a panoramic and indeed rather bombastic occasionally sound.
Trance actually had a bit of integrity when it was actually labelled trance, but then suddenly you had like this huge influx of rubbish like ITV with massive marketing behind it, labelled trance, and I think it's really cheapened kind of a lot of what a lot of people in the dance scene were doing.
The way that it evolved really was a particularly nasty way. I don't think a great deal of care and attention was put to the sound, because the sound when it originally came over to the UK was kind of mysterious, ethereal and kind of large, but the problem, once the producers got their hands on it, was basically produced for the mainstream, and from my perspective probably better heard on the fairground rather than in clubs.
It became very untrendy and very unhip, and the London elites sneered at it for a long time, and I'd say it bloomed again in the very late 90s. It had a whole new audience of cyber kids with their hair done up and wearing makeup and kind of an androgynous look actually, which accompanied it. It lost a lot of that dreadlocks, traveller image.
If I was 16, I would want to listen to trance or something like that, because I certainly wouldn't want to listen to rock and roll, and there's got to be an alternative, and that would be trance. And the good thing is about trance is that you get these kids that listen to it when they're 15, 16, 17, 18, and then they get to like 19 and 20 and they get a bit bored with it and they look for something that's got more integrity, something more groovy, something more soulful, something more musical with bass lines rather than just tones and pulses. And so I think it's a good introduction to dance music, albeit very cheesy.
Talking of trance, my next tune was one of the biggest trance anthems of the year. Another one with an imaginative title as well. It's 1999 by Binary Finery.
Finery. The first time I heard that tune, I was at Amnesia, Cream Night in Ibiza 98. I was dancing on a podium about 5 in the morning. Everyone was having it. The DJ was up there. And that tune just went through me, sent shivers down my spine. There were men in stilts, lasers everywhere, beautiful club, the sun coming in through the roof. And to this day, that tune still sends shivers down my spine.
Soulful, it's very mechanical, but you know, it showed a lot of trance producers that if you produce a trance record and put massive chord changes in it, kids actually go mad for it, and obviously after that there was many more to follow, following the same formula.
Binary Finery, 1999. That's a rocking piece of trance music, hard trance music that went round and round, got re-released and re-released, had a Paul Van Dyke remix, and I think it's vanished for the moment, but I wouldn't entirely count out seeing it reappear again at some point, because it's just got one of those melodic riffs in it that stays in your head and gnaws.
Mixing flashing logos, sci-fi designs and plenty of foam rubber, futuristic clothing from the likes of Cyberdog soon became the uniform of the trance scene.
We started about 8-9 years ago, and the main reason was because, you know, I was a clubber, it was like, you know, always out, and I just couldn't find the clothes I wanted to wear. They were doing like the 60s revival, the 70s revival, and I was like, I don't really want to look back, you know, I want to look forward, I want to have something like, you know, that hasn't been done, you know. Cyberdog's name comes from my dog. We got a Chihuahua, he's like really, really small, and he's like really mean. In fact, first of all he didn't bark, and then all of a sudden he found his voice, and then he turned into this kind of... I wanted to use the word cyber because it comes from cybernetics, which is actually the art of communication between computers. And the word wasn't really used at the time, and I really liked this word. And, you know, one day our dog was just like kind of given one of his mad ones. And he was like, you know, he looked like from another planet or something. He said, like, he's a cyber dog, and that was it. Got the name. I don't actually describe it as futuristic, because like, I think that's like really kind of corny. Because I think it's progressive maybe, but it's definitely for now. You know, it was just like something that wasn't available at the time. It's just a little bit different, but it's not like futuristic. People wear it now, you know. I say the future is here now. Seeing people in your clothes, I think is the best thing. And seeing how they put it together, because a lot of that stuff is like, they can wear it back to front, or they do, or they cut them up, and I like that, you know, I like seeing what they've done with it, you know. I quite like this sort of rough edge. I think we're very much going back to sort of the delinquent, you know, where it's going a bit wrong, so I do like to play with flashing things up and having components posting out and things. It's very sort of crashed sort of viral look. We survived the greed-driven 80s, and it was all very bleak, and it was selfish in a different way. And I think even the club scene then was very, you know, inward. It was, everyone was really off it, and it was very sort of intense and very like a self-centered experience. And now people are like, oh no, actually I don't want to do that. I do actually want to chat and socialise a little bit as well. And I think it's the same in the clubs. It's not just hidden down anymore. People are kind of going, well, this is me, and take it or leave it.
Well, I defy anybody not to have their hands in the air while my next tune is on in a club. This was another Paul Oakenfold masterpiece, although the ever-shy Paul decided to name the group after his record label, Perfecto. This was the trance tune of the year, and it's my number 8. Here's playing Perfecto and Bullet in the Gun.
There's a bullet in the gun. There's a fire in your heart. You will move all mountains that stand in your path. Till the end of all time, I'll be by your side. Always dream that I'm yours and I'll dream your mind.
Had everything in it, vocals, just a wicked sort of melody, and the best, how Paul Oakenfold must have felt, I mean, DJing, and then all of a sudden he stops the record and everyone's singing, there's a bullet in my gun. That's brilliant. And I see it on Cream on New Year's Eve, and it's just fun. Everyone is just like hands up in the, everyone loved it, and he brought it out again last year, because obviously it didn't get the recognition that it needed, and he got it in the end. Brilliant. It was a wicked tune.
Another one for me that has a sort of real kind of hands in the air, you know, tune, sort of euphoric feeling, is Bullet in the Gun, Planet Perfecto. I remember, again, you know, sort of seeing early sort of club reactions to that once it first got played, and that was, you know, an amazing sort of tune, and the effect it had on a crowd.
You will move all mountains that stand in your path. Till the end of all time, I'll be by your side. Always dream that I'm yours and I'll dream your mind.
The marketing machine that is Paul Oakenfold and Perfecto, plus a very catchy record, plus stadium-filling trance production equals massive hit.
That's it for part 1, but join me after the break when we have an exclusive interview with Roger Sanchez and 7 more top tunes of the year.
Solero shots. Strange, the stuff you find in the fridge today. New Solero shots. Now also in tropical flavour.
Potato.
Potato. Potato, 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 potato.
Potato! Potato!
Potato,
Potato! 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 Potato!
No! Potato, potato.
Bird's eye.
Bird's eye. The last word in potato, potato.
swimming. Clippers,
Fish cakes, yes, with a lovely dollop of Hellman's mayonnaise.
Softer, very non-bio.
Hot diggity dog, diggity boom, what you do to me? It's so new to me. What you do to me? Hot diggity dog, diggity boom, what you do to me? How my future will shine. Hot diggity dog, diggity boom, what you do to me?
Hot dogs are hot again, and they're new at McDonald's.
Hot dog.
Wherever she goes,
Power source identified.
whatever she does,
Power source identified.
her adventures are powered by Ericsson.
Power source identified.
Get your Tomb Raider gift pack featuring the Ericsson T20 exclusively through 1-to-1. And see Tomb Raider in theaters this summer.
Dive into 24-hour moisture for your face with new Nivea Visage All Day Aqua, a refreshingly light cream combining aquaspheres and minerals to give your face an instant burst of freshness and a lasting source of moisture. New All Day Aqua from Nivea Visage, pure moisture, 24 hours a day.
Hello, worth an extra. All aboard. Here we go. Steady. Easy, tiger. Wow. Never fails.
You can't get fresher than extra.
Welcome back to the Dance Shears. In a minute we'll hear from Roger Sanchez, but first my number 7 tune of the year.
Too late.
German producer Andre Tannenberger wrote a tune which defined Ibiza '99. It captured the summer vibe perfectly, and it made it to number 1 in the UK. Here it is, it's ATV and 9 PM Till I Come.
Too late.
ATV Till I Come. I mean, the guy's obviously very talented, but you know, it was just sort of a rip-off really, formula record. Everyone started doing formulas of the sort of sound that would chart. Once BBE charted, then like someone thought, I know, I'll do probably something very similar and make a load of money. I actually went on tour to South Africa with ATV expecting to meet the guy, and instead he just sent a bunch of dancers, so that's how much he was into the record.
ATV's 9 PM Till I Come came around sort of the summer of 1999, and it was building up for like about sort of 4 or 5 months. I mean, every single DJ was playing it. And there was just nowhere where you went where it wasn't being played. And when it came out, it sold like something ridiculous, like 250,000 in the first week. And I believe it actually has been like the biggest selling dance act of all time.
ATV, not a big fan, but that Hawaiian guitar riff was just so hilarious. You just had to smile at it, but you wouldn't catch me on the dance floor to it.
He's He's worked with some of the biggest names in the business, conquered the charts, and still maintained his credibility. So, how did it all start for Roger Sanchez?
13 years old, I was DJing, and it's funny because I used to break dance, and I got into DJing from being a break dancer and having a friend of mine that I always used to watch him play and really wanted to do what he did, which is control the crowd. And after he let me on the decks one day at a house party, I was kind of hooked. I went and bought some of my own equipment, and you know, by the time I hit college, my dad was like, "This is getting kind of serious for you. You ought to think about it."
Roger Sanchez is one of those DJs that when he comes on, the entire crowd is just waiting in anticipation. You can feel the atmosphere buzzing. Just a truly astonishing example of how that US garage scene lives and just will continue.
Did a lot of bar mitzvahs and weddings, all the cheesy things that DJs have to do when they're coming up. Wound up throwing my own parties and selling mixtapes on the corners of the village in Manhattan, just hustling, trying to make my name. That's what I did. I've always been a hip-hop fan, and I still am, but I was also going to the Paradise Garage, and I was going to the Loft, and that had a major influence and a major impact on me musically on what I wanted to do. And I really got involved with house music very early on as a DJ. And in Queens, New York, a lot of the DJs were playing Latin hip-hop or freestyle, and I was one of the early ones to start playing house music, because I would go on the weekends, rather than going to the Latin hip-hop club in Queens, I'd go to the Paradise Garage or I'd go to the Loft. I got a bit of that education, so it's really very, very formative for me those years.
The guy's really on it. Really lucky fellow. He's done a lot for house music. He's taken the vibe all around the world, done a lot of good things. He's really contributed heavily towards dance. He's got a great attitude, great personality. The vibe he gives out when he's DJing is excellent, and he's a lovely fella to boot.
By 1999, it seemed like every man and his dog was making house tunes out of old disco records. But my number 6 track stood out from the crowd. It's Soul Searcher with I Can't Get Enough.
You'd remember it after a night out.
By 1999, legal open-air raves had become an established part of the dance scene. One of the biggest of these events was Homelands.
The outdoor festival is, I think, a return of outdoor raving. People have always loved to dance underneath the stars, you know. There's always been a sort of special magic of stomping on the earth and dancing with the planet, and I think it's absolutely brilliant.
You just get every single DJ in the world, which is good as well, because you don't get that in a club. You know, you can listen to drum and bass for an hour, then you can move on to something like progressive house, you can go to a garage tent. It's just everything you want.
We got there really early. All my mates were grumbling because we got there far too early. There was talk at one point of taking a helicopter there, and that was abandoned, and we arrived in a limo in style, and it was all a little bit like, oh God, look at us, we're not ravers at all, because all these kids in their tents and us like, hi. But having said that, I'm glad we arrived like that, because by the end of the night, when everyone's like messed up and muddy, you want some creature comfort.
First Homelands was like an awesome spectacle. It was purely dance music. There was no mainstream acts, it was all dance.
They're good events, they successfully do what they do. Personally, they're not for me. I think everything's rather too organised, really good security, everything's really good, but it lacks the sort of mild frisson of wildness that perhaps some of us require from our raving.
Homelands was brilliant. I mean, so well organised, you know, everything was just right, everything. But there was something missing in the way that there isn't loads of kids there. You know, it's like ravers. What about the little kids running around like you get at Glastonbury, and families and stuff like that? It's magical to see lots of children running around at festivals.
It rained like there was no tomorrow, and I remember being in the VIP bit with everyone just dancing their heads off, and everyone in a tent with water literally up to their knees. And I mean, it was great, but I just remember at one point looking around just thinking, what are we doing? This is just nuts. And people on chairs, on tables, and it's like, the floods are coming. Noah's out there going, come on, you lot, get in the ark. And everyone's like, no, man, we're dancing.
Basement Jaxx, the production duo of Simon Ratcliffe and Felix B, had been ripping up dance floors long before my next tune came out. But 99 was really their year, as they enjoyed 3 top 10 hits, including one of my favourites, Here's Rendezvous.
wanted a track for the album that's quite energetic. We've sort of done quite a lot of stuff that was quite sort of reflective and a bit miserable, and that's because we were trying to be musicians, which is good, which is cool, and you know, plenty of that went on the album. But we wanted to do something that was a bit more kind of energetic, and we had this track, and yeah, it was all right, but it kind of Felix did some vocals. Let's Make a Rendezvous, just some simple kind of positive, feel-good summary vocals. And then I played, replaced some of the elements that were there with flamenco sounding guitar, and it just came together. It sounded a bit, I don't know,
seemed to have a different feel to it.
It had a bit more sort of magic to it.
It's very Ibiza with the guitars and just kind of the whole upliftingness of it. And everyone uses that sound now, which is a shame because it means a song like that, you'll listen to it and say it's got that, because you can sing any warbly notes and it kind of corrects it, and that's what gives it the computer sound. And then Cher came out just before that, and we'd done the track ages ago, and we were like, oh no. It's like we'd had this great idea, and Cher, of all people, like, it's terrible.
Rendezvous reminds me of Ibiza. We were in space, it was a beautiful summer's day out on the terrace, and Basement Jaxx were playing, and Rendezvous came on. It was so happy, everyone was smiling, it was a real tune of the summer. It's such a beautiful tune, and it's timeless.
Nowadays, no single will be complete without a bevy of big-name remixes. Top producers charge a fortune for their services. But is it all as simple as it sounds?
Remixes are always going to be needed because just everybody's not going to be able to make that beat to dance to. You know, there's only a certain number one of us that's going to make a decent enough beat to dance to or have a formula to make it just really simple and work.
What makes a good remixer? Well, it's changed so much from back in the early days where you would actually get the whole multi-track on tape, and you know, the vocals, the music, and obviously you could pick and choose what you wanted to keep, but now you just get vocals and on a DAC, it's like, there you go, remix it. So basically you're writing your own track.
The remixing game is very harsh to the remixer. I don't work until like the first half comes in. So, you know, it's a week, 2 weeks, the record's actually sitting there until they pay their first half. And then when they do pay the first half, they want it in the next 2 days. And what's happened is your creativity, you know, you can't do but so much to really make it work and everything, because they need it fast, they got a release date, and you sort of get all the blame. Like, they want to blame it all on the remixer for, because they didn't come out in time, or we didn't make it in this is why this happened, and, you know, and it's a really bad thing, but that's the risk of being, you know, a remixer.
Would I remix a pop tune? It depends on the tune, it depends if I'm feeling it, and that's really it. I mean, it depends if I'm feeling it. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't remix something that's crap. I just wouldn't. Not unless I thought I could really add something to it, but I couldn't remix Aqua or anything like that, no.
My number 4 tune comes from a man who just can't stop getting it right. It's a top tune with a cool video. Right here, right now, here's Fatboy Slim.
Right Here, Right Now. It was a bit of a slow burner. It was kind of less immediate than most of my thing, but after 3 singles off the album, I kind of got into it and thought, oh yeah, that sounds like a good single. And also we were trying to tone down the kind of wackiness. I was really amazed because by then everyone had bought the album. I couldn't believe it got to number 2, and I was like, that's when I realised I was a proper pop star, I think. You still keep hearing it on adverts and stuff like that, and it's actually the theme tune to the New York Stock Exchange. But I must admit, every time I hear it on the telly, I kind of hear a little bit in it. It's kind of, most of my tunes are fairly two-dimensional, but I think that's one, probably comes from listening to the Chemical Brothers a lot. It's one where there's kind of tons of different layers in it going on, and it's quite emotive. So I have to say that when I started it, I always have a kind of blueprint when I start a track, and it was all started by Massive Attack, Finished Sympathy. I just read somebody just voted that as the best dance record of all time in some poll. I was thinking, yeah, I'll tell you, it's those emotive strings, I'll try and do an emotive string track. So that was the blueprint, was Massive Attack. I had to speed it up a bit, so obviously. When I drop it, when I'm DJing, especially sort of the big stadium gigs in America, you know, the hairs on the back of my neck go up, you know, when it kicks in.
Right Here, Right Now, I love it just for the build-up, amazing build-up. Waiting for it, come on, you bastard! And then it kicks in and goes all mental. I mean, anything of Norman, usually it's guaranteed quality. But Right Here, Right Now, excellent. Turn it up loud.
That's it for part 2, but join me after the break when we'll be finding out what it really takes to become a superstar DJ.
At B&Q, we're having a £30 million clearance to make way for new ranges.
Many of our rugs have at least a third off.
There's a wide choice of colours, modern designs, contemporary and classics, now only £29 and 3 pence.
But Harry, they won't be around for long.
You can do it when you B&Q it.
Sometimes I think you love football more than me.
Exciting and new. Come aboard.
Jason, do you love football more than me?
Watching or playing?
Physio sports, sport on the brain, sport on the body.
It's about simplifying your life.
Taking care of those things that you really don't want to do.
But you have to do them, right?
Non-avoidable resource drains.
No, it's car tax, driving licenses, fishing licenses. Sure.
Okay. You want to hear the radical bit?
Why not?
Real offices with real people.
Bill payments, foreign currency, fast-track passport processing.
Face-to-face in one place.
What can I say? I'm excited.
If it didn't already exist, someone would have to invent it. The post office. What a good idea.
Will there be a website? Will there be a website?
We should have come early. No, we'll never find a space.
You just missed one there.
I never get in there. My teddy circle is too big. Look, that man is going. Speed up. Take a left, take a left. You're a little bit too close. Oh, you're useless. Hey, I've been waiting hours for that space. You complicated little man.
If we took life as seriously as this, then we'd never have invented Malibu. It's seriously easy going.
There is your ticket. Is your mother proud of you?
Like a grain of sand that wants to be a rolling stone. I want to be the man I'm not. To have the things I really.
If you have electricity and gas from British Gas, you could get a discount equivalent to 22 days free electricity a year. Millions come home to electricity from British Gas. Mandy, Mandy, Mandy.
Muller rice. Thick and tasty and satisfying.
There's first love, and there's Muller love.
A star covered with pearls bathes in a perfume of white flowers. As these pearls become gently infused with fragrance, they're captured in Liquifresh perfume selection. New Liquifresh perfume selection from Ambipure.
In our £30 million clearance, there's at least 20% off many power tools. This 12-volt drill with 2 batteries is now only $39.98. You can do it when you're being QS.
Welcome back to the dance years and the year that was 1999. Coming up in a minute, some tips for you budding DJs out there. But first, here's my number 3 tune of the year.
I went to the record company in Hamburg. It was Universal Record by that time. I popped out by these people all the time, you know, to get promos and stuff. So I went to the office and they gave me some house tracks, whatever, and I was like, yeah, this is all right. And he was like, yeah, and there's another one. This is called a group called More Local, you know, maybe you like it. So I put it on the turntable and I had to listen to it and I was like, wow. I just loved the song the way it was. It was like, I just knew it, you know, I just heard it and I was like, we have to do something with the song. So I got back to the people, I called them up and said, what's going to happen with this record? What are you doing about it?
We'd done a very cinematic version of the track for the album, and I knew that it had the potential to be a huge disco stomper. We knew what tempo it was in, and so we insisted that we have it remixed. We asked Todd Terry to do a mix, which he did, and he did a very decent mix of the track, but nevertheless, I think when we heard that, we knew that wasn't going to be a hit. And Boris then sent his mix in the post to us, and it was a complete surprise. We hadn't asked him to do it. I think he just felt he really needed to do it, and as soon as we heard it, we just were like, this is it, this is just massive.
Bring it back, bring it back to me. Come to my sweet melody. Come to my sweet melody.
I just heard it and I don't know, I just love the song. It's like, I love her voice. I've been following the work of Moloko for a long time, and of course I was always thinking, oh, I wish I could play a song like this in a club, because club music is not always beautiful written songs, you know. Most of them are just I love you, you love me, you know, kind of bullshit. Still, when there's a good singer involved and good melodies, it's still fine, but a real songwriter like Roisin, you know, that's always more interesting to work with.
Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back to me. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back to me.
So I was like, oh, this is cute. The Germans got this off. They worked this track. That one, I was standing on a table dancing to that. That was hot. It's good. It's not. It's good to sometimes hear house music where they're not always screaming and they're just being sexy and sensuous vocally.
Money, travel, adoring fans. These days, everyone wants to be a DJ. But have you really got what it takes to reach the top?
As a promoter, what I'd say to an up-and-coming DJ, go down your local pub and get a job. Don't bother. Either people are born with the music inside them. When you talk to a DJ who really DJs because he loves the music, it will just come out in him naturally. People that want to be DJs, that train to be DJs, I think they're born up on this whole image of the DJ being glamorized.
When I first started DJing, which was a very long time ago, there wasn't really the competitiveness and the ego fuel thing that it is these days. You know, people DJ basically because they had a collection of records. It wasn't perceived to be a career. Now it has become pop stardom in inverted commas, which to a certain extent takes away the fundamental artistic form of what a DJ is. A DJ is somebody that's interested in music, that listens to a lot of music, and has got the confidence in his own convictions to be able to go out and play that music to people in clubs.
It's amazing, isn't it? You're here at the weekend and everybody wants to know you. You're loved by thousands. You're playing to thousands of people every weekend, and then all of a sudden you're back at home on Monday and you hit reality. Hello, Mr. Normal, you know? You've got to try and be better than the DJ that was on before you as well, do you know what I mean? There's always a lot of competition because there's so much new DJs coming through and loads of new music, and there's loads of competition, which keeps it really healthy, even though you probably don't like it at the time.
You have no time. If you just want to DJ, that in itself is a full-time job because you have to collect music, exclusive music that no one's got, cut your plates, whatever, practice your set, go out on the road. Then what a natural progression is to have your own label, to put out your own music. So, making your own music is 24/7, just to learn the equipment is 24/7. And so it's very much, if you're either not obsessed by this, then don't do it because you can't do this part-time, really, that's what I'd say. So if you're the sort of girl who really loves your boyfriend and doesn't want to not see him, then this is not for you. If you're the sort of bloke that really is a bit of a wimp, this is not for you either, do you know what I mean? Because it's a hard game.
My number 2 tune had a bit of a French feel to it, but it was actually written by 2 DJs from Brighton. Here's Fats and Small and Turn Around.
We just sort of went in and worked on it for a day, and I had an old a cappella album laying around that hadn't been used, and we just sort of slung it over the top of the backing track.
And it worked.
We waited a long time before we decided to make a track together, and when we did it, in those 12 hours, we made a record that sort of catapulted us into something which was more of a dream than what we thought could be possible reality. It was great. Me and Russell had known each other as party animals over several years, you know what I mean? Although we hadn't been sort of close friends, we'd sort of managed to hook up every 3 or 4 months.
Spend a couple of days together.
Get shit-faced and not come home for several days, and so that's the sort of...
That's quite a good combination. That's someone who I'd like to work with. It actually only took 3 hours to make, because we sat there listening to the cut-up sample for about 4 hours, thinking how good this was.
When you get a good groove in the studio, you actually stand there and you just sort of cut the bass and go, oh, and then bring it back in and go, oh, and then cut the bass and go, oh, and then sort of filter something out and go, oh, and then bring it back in, and 4 hours you do that, and because you're not bored of it, you know it's going to work on the dance floor. So.
But we didn't realise that it was going to be as huge as it was. You know, no one ever knows, do they?
Listen to what I say. Got to turn around.
and Small, Turn Around, fantastic record, loved it. Just a great party record. My mate Russell Small wrote that. I've known Russell for ages from Brighton, and it's just good to see one of my mates do really well as well, you know, after I was maybe a bit biased, but it was an old record, wasn't it? It was just like an old sample and the old vocals just mashed together, and it just worked so well. And it was just such a massive record, wasn't it? For that summer, it was fantastic.
'Cause things ain't getting over. Listen to what I say. Got to turn around. Got to turn around. Got to turn around. Listen to what I say. Got to turn around.
If you're still interested in DJing, we spoke to the experts for a few tricks of the trade.
Budding DJs, you want tips? I'll give you a tip. This one will sort out all your problems forever. Your headphone, keep it really, really low as you can possibly get it. Let's say you've got your track playing on the left deck, yeah? And then on the right deck, you're queuing up and you've got your headphone really loud. When you actually start the mix and bring it in, it's so loud in the headphone, and then it starts to come out of the monitors, you can't hear the track that's playing anymore, and then all of a sudden it could go out, and you won't know until it's too late, and it sounds like someone falling down the stairs with pots and pans tied around their neck. No good. If you keep it really low, when you bring the record in, because it's low in the headphone, and it's coming out of here, you can still hear the record that you're mixing into. And if it does start to waver slightly out, you can make that alteration, put the mix right before the people on the dance floor even notice it.
For me, if people out there are interested in being DJs, I think the first thing they've got to do is get interested in music. Not just house music, not just trance or hard house, whatever they want to play, but all musics. And then you can come across as a unique person in the way that you play your music.
Feel what you're doing actually, you know, forget about what anybody else wants you to do, forget about what people are perceiving you to do, just do what you feel. You know, and I would give that advice to any DJ, you know, and I think that all DJs have that responsibility.
I like putting candles and incense, nagchampa. It puts my mind in a certain frame and it puts me in a certain mood. And I find that it's much more spiritual for me. I've been playing a little bit more on the tribal side, a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more emotional. My surroundings have a very big impact on me. And I find that, especially in a smoky club, you go into the DJ booth and you smell this like really good smell. It's like the first comment I get, people going up to me, wow, it smells great over here. And it puts the crowd in a frame of mind too. It's kind of interesting.
The headphone is your link to the system. As soon as you take that headphone off your head, you are no longer the DJ. You are a punter like everyone else. So if you're in the mix, don't take the headphone off because you lose control. Keep your headphone on at all times while you're mixing and keep it as low as possible. That will just sort you right out. You're going to love me for that.
Having made his name as a remixer, Armand van Helden decided to have a go at songwriting too. And with a little help of vocalist Dwayne Harden, he produced this UK #1. And it's my #1 too. Here is Armand van Helden, and You Don't Know Me.
While he was singing, I was blowing a girl in my bathroom, like for real. I wasn't, it was like nothing, none of that was really serious. Like I would just, my whole recording technique is just very ghetto. Everybody that comes in and ever worked with me is just like, I leave, I go get coffee, I'm like, just sing. I go away, I'm like, sing this song, I'm gone, I'm like, I'm hanging out. Then I'll come back, they're like, I've been sitting here, the dad stopped. The computer has crashed. I'm like, oh, I'm like, not bad. I don't care. I'm like ghetto when I record. I don't care.
I went over to his house and we listened to like a couple of loops, and the third track was the You Don't Know Me sample.
and he sampled it, walked away. I wrote the lyrics, he came back, I said I'm ready to record, and he set up the microphone, walked away, I recorded the song, and that was it. He didn't hear it till I was finished, and we put it all together, and it came out and was, you know, #1 in the UK. Thank you very much to all you people out there watching. So, you know, and that started me in my career in dance music.
So they asked out all the jealousy. Who are you to say that I'm living wrong? Always telling me what to do. I decided this, I gotta be strong. What makes you think that I needed you? You don't know me, you don't even know. You don't know me that I'm not living right. The way that you don't understand me, you can't even know why my pain, my life.
You Don't Know Me is dead rich. Believe it or not. Dead rich. I cannot tell you how many times I have not been able to use a club in New York. I can't tell you. I don't want to say thousands, but it could be. House clubs, hip-hop clubs, reggae clubs, drum and bass, whatever. Any club I just roll up. Sometimes it's like, maybe I have too many guys, we don't dress right, whatever the case. I don't get in sometimes, and this is the way it goes down.
You say I'm not living right. Everything I try to do, you haven't walked in my shoes. I'm gonna move on. It's my life, it's my life. It's my life, it's my life. It's my life, it's my life.
That's it for 1999, but join me next week when we'll be looking at the tunes from the year 2000. And we'll be hearing from Dave Bowers and Artful Dodger. I'll see you then.
Sit down for the rhythm in a style and fashion. When me come and up, you come to please everyone. Express yourself in a dance session. No say that they are shame and they making a me yan. Sit down for the rhythm in a style and fashion.